a promise was made. A promise that hit the beaches of Normandy. A covenant that split the skies over Berlin. A vow that captured Iwo Jima. A promise was made. A solemn oath that liberated Seoul. A sacred trust that defended Quezon. A pact that dug in Da Nang. A contract that weathered Tet. A promise was made. A pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq. A bond that patrolled door to door in Fallujah. An IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. A promise we all must keep. DAV fights for all veterans and their families so they get the health care, financial benefits, and support they earned. If you're a veteran who needs help or you'd like to help us keep the promise, visit DAV.org.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport. The KEEL Morning Show with Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Breaking news and trending talk on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Good morning at 6:03. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. The KEEL app, a free download from Office Furniture Source. Erin, the source of local news. That was awful. That's coming up next.
More on the crime-fighting debate in Shreveport. We'll have that. A standoff in Bossier. One man is locked up. And an MPC member has an ambitious plan for the old Shreveport Country Club.
So let me see if I understand this. Sheriff Frater said one thing.
Oh, boy.
And Chief Crump said another.
And the mayor said another.
What?
Yeah.
Did you find the soundbite?
Oh, yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah.
You found it.
Oh, yeah.
How long did it take you? About an hour?
About an hour.
Wow.
Greggy Poo helped, yeah.
Ooh, what soundbite is that? Hold
Oh,
on. I
boy.
think we'll get to it pretty quick. Sports, traffic, weather, all coming up this hour right here on KEEL.
We have been working together. We are continuing to work together. And we spoke briefly about the warrants operation that was conducted.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
The crime-fighting debate in Shreveport still has a lot of folks scratching their heads. We asked Sheriff Steve Prater if there is a plan to work with Shreveport police to help.
There's no plan in going forward, there's no real plan that's going to impact crime. We may do an operation here or there, but it'll be a time-sensitive thing. It won't be a permanent thing.
Chief Alan Crump tells us he is a bit frustrated by all the social media chatter over this.
Everybody's trying to create some type of confusion, some type of disarray. And if everybody would just be honest, a lot of the confusion, a lot of the nonsense would not even be there.
Crump tells us he welcomes help from the sheriff, but the city is not asking for funding from the parish. House fire in Bossier City leads to an hour-long standoff. Reuben Wright with more.
Bossier firefighters responding to a house fire in the 4800 block at Jeb Stewart Place were stopped by a man with a gun. The man was able to keep emergency responders and police at bay for over an hour, but not long after the SWAT team showed up, the man was taken into custody. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Reuben Wright.
An MPC member looking to bring the old Shreveport Country Club back to life. MPC member Curtis Joseph has proposed $240 million project to bring back the country club under the name Renaissance Hills. Along with John Henry Jr., who operates Chariot Companies, they plan to buy the golf course along with an additional 33 acres to build a hotel, restaurant, and office complex. Preschool and other learning in deep trouble in Louisiana. Care and education for children under age 4. It's hard to find in our state. 144,000 children are in need of early education, and those households primarily consist of single working parents or both parents who work during the day. A study out of Tulane says 90% of a child's brain development happens between birth and the age of 4. After 4 years behind bars, Jesus Martinez has been sentenced to 37 years for attempted rape and kidnapping. This comes after Martinez followed a woman home from a Shreveport nightclub, broke into her apartment, bound her hands and feet, and attempted to rape her. Martinez, who has a previous charge from an 2004 for sexual battery, was identified through DNA evidence. Republicans taking stock of how things went during the special session. House GOP Chairman Lance Harris says they were able to score a few wins.
At the end of the day, we prevented the governor from increasing personal income taxes and stopped them from raising almost $500 million in unnecessary taxes.
Now Louisiana no longer leads the nation for incarcerations. That distinction is now locked up by Oklahoma. Governor John Bel Edwards says the inmate population is falling in Louisiana.
Admission to our prisons for drug possession is down by 47%. Admissions for first-time felonies is down by 18%, and that's creating those alternatives to prison, those alternatives that are going to work better.
Police say a deadly shooting at an Annapolis, Maryland newspaper was a targeted attack.
This person was prepared today to come in. This person was prepared to shoot people. His intent was to cause harm.
The shooting left 5 people dead, 2 wounded. Police say the newspaper also got threats of violence over social media. The suspect is in custody. Mississippi police break up a huge moonshine operation. Agents seized more than 80 gallons of moonshine and more than 10 grand in cash. They also found a 6-barrel still containing 300 gallons of mash. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Men, are you tired of the
Good morning at 610, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's traffic.
Good morning. So far, traffic looks pretty smooth in the Shreveport-Bossier City area. Construction, however, might slow you down on I-220 just north of Cross Lake and on I-20 just east of the Shreveport Regional Airport. If you see anything else, make sure you let us know by calling us on the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. A good deal of sunshine and hot today. The high 99. Clear, warm, and muggy tonight. Low 77. Sunshine tomorrow. High 98. Plenty of sunshine Sunday. High 99. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Dan Petanowski.
Good and to respond. He had been working with the Sheriff Department. We have been working with the Sheriff Department on a plan. In my
Good morning, 612. Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. That KEEL app, always a free download from Office Furniture Source. Okay, you said in the news, you said new stuff on the crime fighting. Well, see, it's all tied together. The mayor's race, the plan to fight crime in Shreveport, are all the sides, i.e. the SPD and its leadership, the Sheriff's Department and its leadership.
And the Caddo Commission and the money they were offering.
Are they all going to come together and work out a plan? Will the Sheriff's Department of Caddo Parish be assisting SPD, patrolling the periphery to free policemen to work the higher crime areas?
Or will the sheriff send patrol into the high crime areas to help?
So, we had Sheriff Steve Prater on yesterday. So, we had SPD Chief Alan Crump on yesterday.
But I have to hearken back to a meeting on June 11th.
Hearken?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I'm going to hearken away.
Hearken away.
This was a city council work session meeting.
This is what you brought up with Steve. This is what you also brought up with Mr. Allen.
And I knew I heard the mayor talk about, we have a plan. We're working on a plan with the sheriff. You know, we didn't, the chief didn't attend this meeting a few days ago, but but trust me, we're working on a plan. And I thought, do I remember hearing the mayor right
now,
about
how
that?
long ago was this soundbite you found?
June 11th.
Okay, now, how long did it take you to track this thing down?
Greg helped, and it was about an hour.
When I went into the studio for the client session yesterday, you and Greg were starting to dig through the digital archives. When I came back, I guess you'd found it because you'd taken off, and it was, but it was about 11:45 then.
Right.
Wow.
Count how many times in this piece of audio, it's about 30 seconds or so, the mayor says plan.
Okay, set it up for me again. This is from
the city council work session on June 11th. It's Mayor Ollie Tyler. She'd gotten some questions from Councilman Willie Bradford about why weren't we at the meeting? Why wasn't the chief at the meeting? What are we doing to fight crime? Can you give us an idea where we are?
We have been working with the sheriff department on a plan. In my understanding, from the meeting we had, the 2-hour meeting that we had with the sheriff and the others, they were to go back and develop a plan, and that's what they did. And apparently somebody in the parish commission didn't like the plan. We were under the impression that the plan was going to be presented to the sheriff, and the sheriff and the chief would sit and look at the plan and then present that to the parish commission, and then they could decide whether or not they were going to fund it. That was our understanding.
Okay.
So 5 times she said plan. There's a plan. We're working on a plan. We are implementing a plan. We're talking to the sheriff about a plan. And so this next bite, you just heard Mayor Ollie, and this next bite is you've got Prater next, right?
Yes.
This is from our chat with Sheriff Steve Prater yesterday, and Erin asks him about the quote, the soundbite that you just heard from Mayor Tyler.
The mayor said in the city council meeting a couple of weeks ago, and I'm almost direct quoting, she said, we have our people meeting with your people, developing a plan. Okay?
Right.
What's the plan? We can develop a plan all day. That doesn't keep people from shooting.
And is there really a plan?
Is there really a plan being developed?
Let me see. Do you want the Steve Prater version?
Oh, absolutely.
The politically correct
I want
version?
the Steve Prater version.
No, there's no plan.
Do you even have people meeting with her people to talk about it?
Yes, my chief deputy and myself met with the assistant chief, Bill Gooden. We met and came up with this warrant roundup that we just finished. But there's no plan to in going forward. There's no real plan that's going to impact crime. We may do an operation here or there, but it'll be a time sensitive thing. It won't be a permanent thing. And like I say, I've been asked what would I do if I was police chief, and I'm not going to answer that, and that's not fair to him. And it's not, it's just not necessary to
step on any toes.
But if I could come to you as the sheriff, pretend like I'm the chief, okay? God bless our city, but I come to you and I say, Steve, I need you to help me. I need 10 of your deputies to help patrol Shreveport's high crime neighborhoods between 9 or 10 o'clock at night and 6 o'clock in the morning. Can you do that for me, Steve? And we'll find some funding. Can you do it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why isn't that a start?
That's not a question for me.
But you could do it tomorrow.
Well,
with the money, if the money's there.
Yeah. Figuratively speaking, tomorrow, probably be Monday next week.
And for someone from the city to say, well, the deputies really don't know those neighborhoods. They don't know our percent. I mean, how do you respond to that?
The deputies are as well trained and qualified as any Shreveport policeman. I'm very proud of the deputies. They do a great job, and they're very comparable. They're comparably paid. And like I say, Shreveport Police Department is a great organization with great officers, as is the Caddo Sheriff's Office. And so to say that we're, I hope nobody would ever say that we're not trained, experienced, or prepared to do that. You're not going to work for Steve Prater if you can't do whatever it takes.
So, on one hand,
Do we have a plan?
follow me on this. On one hand, the mayor says, we've got a plan, we're working on a plan, we're working together on a plan, we are implementing a plan.
Yeah.
Sheriff Steve says, no plan.
There's no plan.
On one hand, Sheriff Steve says, because they got that warrant thing, but that's not really a plan.
That's a temporary, yeah.
And when Chief Crump was here yesterday, when Chief Crump was here yesterday, he said, "Nah, we've got the warrant plan."
You do those all the time. You do joint operations all the time. Joint narcotics operations. They're doing a joint warrants operation. That's pretty common in every American city out there. Do we have a plan for the sheriff to help patrol the city?
A plan, and yet
relieve some more officers.
And yet, so many Shreveport police officers say, with all respect, we really don't need the sheriff's department help. What we need is a reallocation of forces. What we need is a reallocation of. There's a lot of guys working desks, could be out on the street,
and we need to be allowed to do our jobs. I got this text from a.
Hold that just a second.
A muckety muck.
A what?
A muckety muck.
What's that?
That's somebody up there.
Oh, you refer to higher ups.
Yeah.
As muckety mucks.
Muckety mucks.
So for example, the assistant chief executive officer of Town Square Media, when he comes to town, you would say, "Hello, Mr.
Muckety Muck."
Wow.
Yeah, he's a highfalutin guy.
Might want to rethink highfalutin.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He's way up there. Is
Hold
that wrong?
On. The muckety muck text is coming up next.
He's highfalutin too.
If you missed it yesterday, it is rather interesting. 19 past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel.
No major accidents or slowdowns to report so far this morning, but you do want to watch out for construction I-220 just north of Cross Lake and I-20 just east of the Shreveport Regional Airport. If you see any accidents or anything slowing traffic down, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. A good view of sunshine and hot today. The high 99. Clear, warm, and muggy tonight. Low 77. Sunshine tomorrow. High 98. Plenty of sunshine Sunday. High 99. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Dan Petanowski.
Robert here, Keel Sports. Is there any other way to say it than poor Arkansas? Freshman Kevin Abel pitched a 2-hit shutout in the deciding game of baseball's College World Series. Oregon State tops the Razorbacks 5-0. They win the national championship. Jerry Kelly has a 2-stroke lead at the U.S. Senior Open, that in Colorado Springs, Colorado. 2 Shreveport guys in the mix. No surprise, David Toms at even par. Maybe a little surprising, Shreveport amateur Robbie McWilliams. He shot +3. World Cup soccer, 4 teams move on to the round of 16. Winners yesterday, Colombia, Poland, Tunisia, and the always underrated Belgians. And as anticipated, Tampa Bay Bucks quarterback Jameis Winston suspended 3 games, the first 3 of the upcoming season. Winston accused of making unwanted sexual physical advances on a female Uber driver in 2016. That's sports, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel.
There will always
1017.
Twenty-five past 6 o'clock, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Okay, so we had, in the last segment, you had the mayor from a city council work session. That's the Monday deal. Then they have the real meetings on Tuesday.
Right.
And she had said, hey, working on a plan, crime-fighting plan, working with the sheriff's department.
Our people meeting with the sheriff's people.
It's like we may as well move in together. We're working on such a plan.
We got this going.
And then Sheriff Steve yesterday says, you want the politically correct answer? You want the Steve Prater answer? And you said, give me the Steve Prater answer.
Those are always better.
Said there's no plan.
There's no plan.
So
there is no plan.
So you had received a text from inside the Shreveport Police Department.
Yeah.
And this is relatively well up the ladder, if you will.
Important person, yeah.
So go ahead.
You see, the officers are offended. They're written up if they chase a bad man. Car chases are called off. We work with 8 to 11 officers per area, which is the bare minimum recommended staffing every single day. And now that crime is up, we're like, duh, you think? We've been trying to tell you. He does not care. So we tell his boss, the mayor. She does not do anything to him. So the public outcries for the sheriff. The sheriff is like, now it's my fault? So the public expects him to save Crump from Crump. Ollie needs to make changes.
So here's the deal. And you asked Chief Crump about that yesterday. You asked him about the allocation. You said, are more than half the Shreveport Police Department on desk jobs? And he said, no.
After a long pause of 4 seconds, he said no.
Then go back to the first part of that. When you asked him about the chase policy, etc. And he said, you got to remember, there's liability there.
And that's happening in a lot of police departments. They're calling off chases. They're no longer allowing
car chases now. Vehicle
right.
chases is what you're talking
because
about.
Innocent bystanders are getting killed and hurt.
Or at least the possibility exists.
Sure.
I mean, if they hit your car, it property damage too.
The problem in Shreveport with this policy change is that the criminals now know it. So they know if they can jump in a car and get moving, they're not coming after me. Unless they know who I am, I'm getting away. And that word is on the street. All the criminals know it. They know, get in a car, speed off, and they won't come after you. Unless it's a very violent crime, and then they're going to chase you. And they have some guidelines about when you can continue a car chase. But for the most part, you cannot have a car chase in the city of Shreveport. And and police officers know it, and the criminals know it. But that's not our number one problem. Our number one problem is police presence in the high crime neighborhoods. I'm a moron with regard to policing. I know that. You are a moron with regard to policing. You know that. Ruben knows that. If you have more police presence in a high crime neighborhood, you have fewer crimes. It's just as simple as that. I hate to say that, but if you have 500 police officers on your force, and 170 of them are assigned to patrol, there's an imbalance of that scale in my view. It's just simple math. I know you have a bunch of people that have to do certain jobs, and I get that. But you have others that you can pull from these jobs where they're issuing stickers at Cross Lake, or they're on a neighborhood assistance team, or DARE officers in schools, or whatever. You say to the guys, gals, I know I've assigned you to this, but we need a better presence on the street. We're going to put more of you in the neighborhoods. Here's where I need you. Do I have volunteers first? If I don't, then I'm going to assign you. And I mean, it sounds simple and basic, and my police friends will text me and go, "You're making it too simple." And there's more to it than that, and I get that. But doesn't that sound kind of simple?
29 past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Erin has local news up next right now. Traffic time. Ruben. No. Brandon's here again.
Friday morning traffic looks nice and smooth so far in the Shreveport-Bossier City area, but if you see something, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline at 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sunshine and hot today, high 99. Clear, warm, and sticky tonight, low 77. Plenty of sunshine, hot, and humid again tomorrow, the high 98. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Dan Padanowski.
Hey, this
The power of information. KEEL News now.
Crime fighting in Shreveport, hot topic, and some Shreveport police officers are critical of the SPD no high-speed pursuit policy. We asked Chief Crump about that, and he says research shows too many innocent people get hurt in police car chases.
We have to look at the best way to continue to do our jobs in a safe fashion.
What about the sheriff stepping in to help patrol the city? Sheriff Steve Prater says the city marshal and state police have offered to help, but they would need some direction on what kind of help is needed.
It's not any of the three of our places to go in and take over, to jump in that briar patch and take over law enforcement in the city of Shreveport.
Chief Crump says the agencies will continue to work together on joint operations, but in terms of using deputies to patrol the city, that's not something he's moving forward to doing at this point. State lawmakers, in fact Republicans, are taking stock of a contentious series of special sessions that took 3 attempts this year to come to a resolution. GOP Chairman Lance Harris says he's pushed a series of budget transparency bills and spending reform packages that either did not clear the legislature or were vetoed by the governor. One of his main focuses, Medicaid, saw no major changes this year.
There are several bills that address Medicaid and Medicaid requirements that would have saved the state money, and those were defeated at every turn.
Dodie Horton of Houghton zeroed in on Medicaid as well. She says she's disappointed that further cuts were not implemented into the program that has grown significantly.
We didn't have to drastically cut other departments in order to overfund one. I feel that we stood our ground. We were so close to forcing our state to change the way we budget.
House fire in Bossier leads to an hour-long standoff. Firefighters responded to Jeb Stewart Place, but were stopped by a man with a gun. He kept them at bay for over an hour, but not long after the SWAT team showed up, the man was taken into custody. An MPC member looking to bring the old Shreveport Country Club back to life. Reuben Wright with that.
Metropolitan Planning Commission member Curtis Joseph has proposed a $240 million project to bring back Shreveport Country Club under the name Renaissance Hills. Along with John Henry Jr., who operates Chariot Companies, they plan to buy the golf course along with an additional 33 acres to build a hotel, restaurant, and an office building. From 101.7 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Reuben Wright.
Louisiana no longer leads the nation for incarcerations. That distinction is now locked up by Oklahoma. Governor John Bel Edwards says the change has also produced financial savings.
By our current estimates, our savings have exceeded all expectations, and we are still waiting for those numbers to be finalized as we close out this fiscal year.
The governor says a report outlining the savings will be available sometime next month. Police are seeking answers from the suspect they say opened fire at a newspaper in Annapolis, Maryland.
A white male in his late 30s in custody, and our criminal investigation division investigators are interviewing him now.
The deputy chief with the county police department, the shooting left 5 people dead, 2 others were wounded. And this is like carrying a baby until it's about 5. A woman in Alabama was in such pain, she went to the doctor and found out she had an ovarian cyst. Once removed, the cyst weighed in at 50 pounds. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Are your
I am just speculating here. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
I'm going to have the chief ready, by the way, in just a couple of minutes.
In a couple of seconds.
We asked him about the plan.
Jack Spring Security.
Jack Spring Electric Shockbuster button.
Yeah, I'm just, there's a million things going through my head.
I know.
And I'm trying to think back.
I'm going to try to keep it clean today.
I would speculate that the last time you were emotionally paralyzed by a sports loss, and I'm just guessing here, the last time that you were emotionally affected, like break up with your boyfriend or whatever affected, that it was probably when Alabama beat LSU in the national championship game.
You're right.
Just a couple of weeks after LSU had beat Alabama.
You're right. Absolutely right. Those poor boys.
You're talking about Arkansas, aren't you?
Those poor boys.
They didn't have a chance. They were doomed.
They got dusted.
They were doomed.
What was it, 5-0?
5-0. College World Series, Game 3, Oregon State beats Arkansas last night 5-0.
I watched both of those games back to back.
Did you think for an instant that after what had happened on Wednesday night that Arkansas had a chance?
I did. I really did.
You really did?
I thought they're going to. The kid came out. He did the news conference. He said, we're going to move forward. You know, he was. I liked him.
And evidently they didn't.
Shattuck or whatever his name is. I was like. Yeah. I like this kid.
So with the 3 Arkansas guys, it was not the catcher. I thought originally it was the catcher, the first baseman, and the right fielder. It was or the second baseman. It was the first baseman, second baseman, and right fielder.
Yeah.
That the ball just fell between them. I got it. You got it. You get it. I got it. Oh crap.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next guy gets a hit and it's tied, and the guy gets a home run. They lose 5-3. And you thought they had a chance. Past is prologue.
I thought they were going to be able to dust themselves off.
After the Red Sox, the Bill Buckner ground ball, World Series, 1986, Mookie Wilson right through his legs. Mm-hmm. That was Game 6. Now it's tied 3 games apiece. Game 7. Did you really think back then, I'm speaking sort of hypothetically now, but no, Boston had no chance. Arkansas had no blood. No.
I thought they did. I really did.
Believe me, I'm dying for those.
I'm rooting for the SEC. I always am.
I don't get into college sports, I've said before, because I just have trouble getting it. To use my tried and well-worn phrase, I find it hard to get emotionally involved in something a 19 or a 20-year-old does.
No, I do. I love it. I love every minute of it.
To quote Jerry Seinfeld, not to get way off track, basically you're rooting for laundry.
What do you mean?
Basically, you're rooting for the guys in the uniform. You don't really care about the guys. you're rooting for purple and gold.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So
every now and then I get attached to a player.
The Jerry Seinfeld line is basically in this era of free agency, in professional sports, you're not really rooting for people, you're rooting for laundry.
Yeah.
So if
that's
you're
true.
Okay. And that's not
true.
bad, it's just how it is.
Yeah.
There's a turnover every year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
But those Arkansas kids,
so sad.
For someone who does not get involved in college sports.
Yeah.
After that play on Wednesday night, I thought they're doomed.
Yeah.
And in fact they were.
Oh boy.
And I'll tell you about the Fletcher story off the air because we probably can't tell it on.
No, you can't.
But he's out of town, and it's probably better that
he needs to stay out of town.
Outside this judicial area.
Yeah, absolutely.
639, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. What do you want to do next?
Chief Alan Crump. We had some time with him yesterday in the 8 o'clock hour in case you missed it. And we're going to replay a good hunk of that.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just reacting like the mayor's office. You sure you want to do that?
Oh, yeah.
Traffic update right now. Here's Brandon on Keel.
Good morning. So far, traffic looks pretty smooth in the Shreveport-Bossier City area. Construction, however, might slow you down on I-220 just north of Cross Lake and on I-20 just east of the Shreveport Regional Airport. If you see anything else, make sure you let us know by calling us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. A good deal of sunshine and hot today. The high 99. Clear, warm, and muggy tonight. Low 77. Sunshine tomorrow. High 98. Plenty of sunshine Sunday. High 99. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Dan Petanowski.
In 1980.
.101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 642, working to our full potential this morning. Okay, so let me just kind of set the stage for this. So you had the soundbite from a couple of months ago, where Mayor Tyler was talking about, yeah, we're making a plan. We've got a crime-fighting plan. We're working on the plan. We're working on the plan with the Sheriff's Department. There's a plan. We're working on the plan. We're implementing the plan. Mm-hmm. Then we had Sheriff Steve yesterday, and he said, you want the politically correct answer, or you want the Steve Prater answer? You said Steve Prater answer. He said, there's no plan.
Yeah.
So then we asked Chief Crump yesterday when he was on.
We got into that with him.
So that's what you have now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the sound. How long is this?
This is long. This is a big hunk of the interview. So we're just going to, I just need to hit it because I think you just started off.
Joining us for a little bit is Shreveport Police Chief Alan Crump. Chief Alan, welcome to Keel. How are you this morning?
I'm doing fine this morning. Hope you all are doing the same.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Big meeting yesterday. There was the state police and the Sheriff's Department, Shreveport Police, City Marshal, a councilman, a whole bunch of politicians in the room. What was that meeting about, and was any conclusion reached?
Well, the meeting was, of course, a parish commission assembly, and it was their long-range planning meeting to still discuss the collaboration between the police department and the sheriff's department. So I think we did, at least from my standpoint, I believe that we confirmed that because we have been working together. We are continuing to work together, and we spoke briefly about the warrants operation that was conducted for a couple of days between the Sheriff's Department, Police Department, City Marshal's Office, State Police, Probation and Parole, and gave some of the numbers on those two operations and just the to hear the concerns from some of the council members relative to their constituents and to try to answer those questions to the best of our ability. But I think we did. You would have to talk to some of the other members there to get their opinion, but I believe we at least confirmed that we are working together, and I did get a chance to share some of the operations that we've been running probably since early March that some of the commission members were not aware of, and some of the figures that arrest-wise and warrants served, things came from those operations. So
Excuse me, Chief, just a second. We had Sheriff Prater on earlier this morning, and to paraphrase, the sense we got from him was that yesterday's meeting was his time could have been better spent. Why do you think he says that?
I don't know. You would have to ask him. You asked me what I thought, and that's what I shared. I can't speak on why Sheriff Prater said what he said.
But in your mind, pardon me again, there was no sense of conflict or frustration between the two of you at yesterday's meeting.
No, there was no conflict between myself and the sheriff, and not to be out of place, but he did not speak at that meeting. He was present, but he didn't speak, so I'll leave that there.
Chief, the media is all reporting today that essentially at the meeting it came out that you don't need their help. Explain what you mean by that.
No.
You don't need the money. Is that what it really is?
No. Listen to me.
Okay.
Last year, the Mayor Tyler and the City Council gave the Shreveport Police Department $150,000 to run overtime operations.
Mm-hmm.
In this year's budget, the mayor and the council allotted us $300,000 to run overtime operations, which we have been doing, collaborating from Operation Long Haul that we started last year, and many operations we've ran as an offshoot of Long Haul, in addition to the most current operation that we're running right now called Darkness Falls. Now, I can't speak about what the parish may need to give to the sheriff's department, anything like that. That's not my place to discuss those issues. So whatever is being alluded to there by the sheriff or anyone else relative to the parish, y'all would have to continue to pose those questions to them. But as it relates to the Shreveport Police Department, our administration, our council has given us, I believe, what we need for the time being to do our operations. So I don't understand where whatever confusion is arising. I never asked the council for any money.
Well, the commission.
I would be out of place to do that anyway. Right. I work for the city of Shreveport.
The mayor a couple of weeks ago at the city council meeting said, and I'm almost quoting her, she when you were not at the other meeting and she was questioned about that, she said, let me make it real clear to you. The chief and his people are working with the sheriff and his people behind the scenes on a plan to fight crime in the city. We asked the sheriff this morning, are you working on a plan? He said no. Do we have a plan in place? Do we need a plan in place to fight crime in Shreveport?
So I don't know about semantics or if there's a stretched definition of plan. As this initially started from a request of two city council members that the police department and the sheriff's department work together, and the initial effort was which was brought up again in the meeting yesterday, that the sight of cars, marked units other than Shreveport police driving through neighborhoods in Shreveport. Well, I think Sheriff Prater was clear in an interview he had that, at least I read an article in the Shreveport Sun, and I'll just leave that there relative to patrolling. But he also said in an article that we do work together. We continue to work together. Some of the operations we can make public, some of the operations we cannot. So as it relates to a plan, maybe each person that says that has a different thought. But our agencies have been communicating. That's how the warrants operation came to fruition as a result of members of the Shreveport Police Department and members of the Caddo Parish Sheriff's Department working together to come up with what was believed to be the best thing to approach some of the issues we face in the city limits of Shreveport.
Talking to Shreveport Police Chief Alan Crump. Chief, my phone's been blowing up all morning from police officers. They're upset. They're hurt. They feel like their hands are tied. And then they send me numbers. They're saying we have 500 police officers in the city of Shreveport, and only 170 or so are actually assigned to patrol. Have you looked at those numbers? Can you make changes to put more of those guys and gals on the street in our neighborhoods?
Well, we assess our manpower and allocate our strength. But they also, I would assume that some of those officers failed to tell you, give you a ballpark figure of officers that are on sick leave, which they are allotted under civil service. We are allotted 52 weeks in a year. And if the doctor, that individual's doctor so acknowledges, that time could very well be extended. Sometimes people exhaust large numbers of sick leave, come back to work, and then go out sick again.
But are more than half of your officers on desk jobs?
No, and I don't know. I don't understand what your point is, or whatever officers that are writing in to you, trying to. It seems like everybody's trying to create some type of confusion, some type of disarray, and if everybody, I believe, would just be honest, a lot of the confusion, a lot of the nonsense would not even be there. So I'm not going to try to answer you specifically right now based off of what you're saying somebody else has said to you. So police officers do a lot of things. It was said in the commission meeting yesterday that a police officer shared with one of the commission members that we need more equipment. We've purchased cars. We have equipment. So now, what does that mean? That could be very broad. What is he talking about? Is he talking about cameras? Is he talking about body mics? Is he talking about drones? Equipment is a broad term, but that's what the commissioner said the officer said. Is that true? Yeah, we can always get more equipment to do certain things, but a large sum of money has been spent to get brand new cars, the computers that are in the cars, the body mics, the cameras. We try to do as much as we can according to the budget that we have to operate with.
So there you go. Shreveport Police Chief Alan Crump yesterday morning.
What did he say about a plan? He hemmed and hawed a little, didn't he?
1017 FM, 710 Keel, 652. Traffic and weather update coming up right now. Brandon's here with Friday morning stuff.
No major accidents or slowdowns to report so far this morning, but you do want to watch out for construction I-220 just north of Cross Lake and I-20 just east of the Shreveport Regional Airport. If you see any accidents or anything slowing traffic down, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sunshine and hot today, high 99. Clear, warm, and sticky tonight, low 77. Plenty of sunshine, hot, and humid again tomorrow, the high 98. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Dan Padanowski.
Robert here, KEEL Sports. Is there any other way to say it than for Arkansas? Freshman Kevin Abel pitched a two-hit shutout in the deciding game of baseball's College World Series. Oregon State tops the Razorbacks 5-0. They win the national championship. Jerry Kelly has a two-stroke lead at the U.S. Senior Open, that in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Two Shreveport guys in the mix. No surprise, David Tom's at even par. Maybe a little surprising, Shreveport amateur Robbie McWilliams. He shot +3. World Cup soccer, 4 teams move on to the round of 16. Winners yesterday, Colombia, Poland, Tunisia, and the always underrated Belgians. And as anticipated, Tampa Bay Bucks quarterback Jameis Winston suspended 3 games, the first 3 of the upcoming season. Winston accused of making unwanted sexual physical advances on a female Uber driver in 2016. That's sports. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Okay, so coming up just after 7 o'clock is Rick Edmonds. He is candidate for Secretary of State. Need to talk about Shreveport Country Club, too. Excuse me, the proposed Renaissance Hills.
Also in the 7 o'clock hour, Scott Hughes joins us in studio. We're going to go over.
I thought that was in the 8 o'clock.
No, 7:20.
I'm so confused.
He's going to go over all this hullabaloo bubbling in the mayor's race.
Right now, Rush on KEEL.
On April 28th, the New York Times editorial board went into a panic. They'd heard rumors that Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy planned to retire. Their editorial that day was an open letter to Justice Kennedy begging him to stay because America needed him. They used flattery. They praised him as the most powerful member of the court because he was willing to side with liberals when it mattered. They used fear. They told Kennedy that Republicans were already smelling blood, a chance to put another Gorsuch-like conservative on the bench, someone who would lock in a right-wing majority for a lifetime. And they used their trump card. They asked Justice Kennedy if he was really willing to hand President Trump, who desecrates civility and decorum, the chance to fill his seat. Think about your legacy, Justice Kennedy. Well, 8 weeks later, the New York Times editors and everybody else got Justice Kennedy's answer. All their flattery, all their whining, all of their begging, all their fear tactics went nowhere. Justice Kennedy is officially retiring, and President Trump gets to pick his successor. And Trump went out there and said that Kennedy told him that he was glad to be retiring so that Trump could choose his successor. That had to really rub the Times raw after all of their efforts. Sometimes there are happy endings, folks. Keep the faith.
Did you know that over 90% of male enhancement pills are virtually the same thing that's repackaged, redone over and over again? Why settle for the same old product when you can get something completely different? Something that takes male enhancement into the 21st century. Something that really works. Men, you need to try Noxitril, the explosive, all-natural male enhancement formula that will unlock your performance in the bedroom to a level you could only dream of. Try to imagine Viagra on steroids. Noxitril is so powerful, that's why it took years for it to finally become available to the public without a prescription. So call now and take advantage of our special Noxitril free bottle offer today. Oh yeah, we recommend that you use the Noxitril dose as directed. Think of your partner. We certainly don't want you to overperform in the bedroom.
Call now and find out how to get a free bottle of
breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport. The KEEL Morning Show with Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Breaking news and trending talk on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Good morning. It's 7:03. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Lots of local news. Erin is getting it together right now.
Crime fighting in Shreveport. What are we doing? We'll talk more about that. The prison population in Louisiana is on the decline, and a standoff in Bossier leads to one man locked up.
Okay, so Rick Edmonds is a Baton Rouge state representative, and he's running for Secretary of State. He has some Shreveport connections. Going to talk with him in about 10 minutes. Political analyst Scott Hughes about 7:20 on the mayor's stuff. And does Shreveport really need another golf course? Does it really need another golf course? Traffic, weather, sports, all coming up this hour. It's right here, and it's on KEEL.
In 1980.
information. KEEL News now.
The crime-fighting debate in Shreveport, lots of people are still talking about it, and what is being done. We asked the sheriff what did he hear at this week's meeting that included all the parties around a table.
I'm saying that they don't need our help is what they're saying, and that we are, and the state police and the city marshals are, we're in the starting blocks. If you need us, we're there for you.
Now, we asked Chief Alan Crump whether or not he needs the help. He says it is a cooperative effort.
We have been working together. We are continuing to work together. And we spoke briefly about the warrants operation that was conducted for a couple of days between the Sheriff's Department, Police Department, City Marshal's Office, State Police, Probation, and Parole, and gave some of the numbers on those two operations.
But the sheriff says those operations are not permanent fixes. They're just temporary operations that do help to get some suspects off the streets. Louisiana no longer leads the nation for incarcerations. Governor John Bel Edwards says that 7% more of the prison beds are filled with violent criminals. He says reducing incarceration rates was marked as a priority during his campaign. He says there's satisfaction with the direction of the change, but there's still more work to do.
The early data tells us that what we're doing is working. We're excited about that. We know we have a lot of work to do.
House fire in Bossier leads to an hour-long standoff. Firefighters responded to a home on Jeb Stewart Place, but they were stopped by a man with a gun. The man was able to keep emergency responders and police at bay for more than an hour, but not long after the SWAT team showed up, he was taken into custody. Metropolitan Planning Commission member Curtis Joseph has proposed $240 million project to bring back Shreveport Country Club under the name Renaissance Hills. Along with John Henry Jr., who operates Chariot Companies, they plan to buy the golf course along with an additional 33 acres to build a hotel, restaurant, and office building. Republicans taking stock of a contentious series of special sessions that took 3 attempts this year to come to a resolution. Houghton Representative Dodie Horton, who rejected attempts to renew any portion of the $1.4 billion in expiring taxes, says the state has plenty money.
The issue is that I know that we're going to have a surplus, and I just felt that we should have honored what we said we were going to do, let the penny roll off, and live within our means.
But that didn't happen. Part of the penny will be renewing. Preschool and other early learning in deep trouble in our state. Reuben Wright with that.
Care and education for children under 4 is hard to find in Louisiana. 144,000 children are in need of early education, and those households mostly consist of single working parents or both parents who work during the day. A study out of Tulane says that 90% of a child's brain development occurs between birth and the age of 4. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Reuben Wright.
A deadly shooting hits a newspaper office in Annapolis, Maryland. Police say the gunman deliberately targeted the Capital Gazette, which also got threats over social media.
We have 5 confirmed fatals and 2 injuries. The injuries, to my understanding, are superficial, possibly from glass from the shotgun blast.
Police believe the man had a long, acrimonious history with the paper, including a lawsuit and years of harassment of its journalists on Twitter. Today will be a busy travel day. 2.7 million Americans will be getting an early start on the 4th of July travel. Expect delays in some of the larger airports. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Hi, I'm Don.
9 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Traffic for Friday morning. Here's Brandon.
No major accidents or slowdowns to report so far this morning, but you do want to watch out for construction I-220 just north of Cross Lake and I-20 just east of the Shreveport Regional Airport. If you see any accidents or anything slowing traffic down, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sunshine and hot today, high 99. Clear, warm, and sticky tonight, low 77. Plenty of sunshine, hot, and humid again tomorrow, the high 98. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Dan Padanowski.
A company
Good morning. It's 12 past 7 o'clock. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. The Keel app, a free download presented by, as always, Office Furniture Source. Mr. Rick Edmonds is here. He is a state representative from Baton Rouge, and he is also the latest candidate for the office of Louisiana's Secretary of State. Hey, Mr. Rick, welcome to Keel.
Hey, good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
We're good.
Well, I was going to say, you might be unfamiliar to most people in Shreveport, but that might, in fact, not be the case. You do have a few Shreveport ties, don't you?
Now, wait a minute. Not just a few. In fact, I'm going to date myself with you guys. I'm going to just show you how big of a Shreveporter I am. I used to would been on the radio with lovable Larry Ryan. He's our guy, okay?
Oh, wow.
Well, he's still on the radio, so you may be in your late... So what's it like being in your late 20s, Mr. Rick? You are the newest candidate, the newest guy in the race for Secretary of State. Tell us about yourself. Tell us why you're in.
Well, I tell you, thanks for having me on this morning. And I am a Shreveport boy. I grew up in West Shreveport and just had a great life. And my wife and I are both from Shreveport. Our families all grew up in Northwest Louisiana. And in these last few years, we've been in Baton Rouge and got elected down here in the southeast part of Baton Rouge. Serve House District 66. Love it. Even with all the chaos you guys are. Just getting out of a lot of sessions and all that, but still love serving the people, love being a state rep, but see the Secretary of State's office as a great opportunity to really build a statewide network of folks that be interested in real strong conservative values, and I just really looking forward to being across the state and making a whole bunch of new friends and being back in Shreveport, seeing you guys, and all those good things that campaigns bring about.
All right, I'm from southeast Baton Rouge, so we've crossed paths, I'm sure, over the years. Our Secretary of State resigned amid a scandal, a sexual harassment scandal, that drew a lot of attention. Are there things you need to do to build the faith back in the employees in that office?
Well, I do believe administratively that the office is in good shape, but obviously when anything happens, this level of disruption, there's always morale that seems to dip. And, Cindy and I, we've been married. We're childhood sweethearts. We've been married for 44 years. We're in as much love today as we have been our whole life. We plan to model great family values, and we don't have to practice at that. We don't have to try to. I mean, that's just who we are. We have 4 sons and 4 daughter-in-laws, 8 grandchildren. I mean, we just have a storybook life, and I really believe those type of family values is exactly what the office needs right now to encourage people. The Bible says that encouragement is like a medicine. It's like a laughter itself. It's like a medicine, and I just think that brings an atmospheric change to an office. And I just really believe that Cindy and I are geared to ready to bring that to the Secretary of State's office.
Top priorities if you're elected?
Well, you want to make certain, first of all, that every American citizen who lives in Louisiana votes, and that their vote's protected and that their vote counts. And I will assure you that this office will take that as serious as anybody's ever taken it. I have a great work ethic. I'm going to make certain that I work as hard as any Secretary of State that you've ever elected. During this time period, all of our archaic machines are going to be purchased. New data is going to be brought in. All the cyber threats that people are concerned about. I'm going to do everything we need to do to make certain that our elections are secure and reliable and accessible, and that the Secretary of State's office is high visibility throughout all 64 parishes, and that office becomes a shining light in our state, and I promise you we can get that done.
I heard a complaint the other day from someone who said it's really hard to vote these days. I'm working 2 jobs. You only have this week long for early voting, and then you have this one day when I got to go, and I'm working. I can't get there. Do you support online voting?
I will not support online voting, and it's those things that are extremely risky. It's too hard to protect against the other attacks, and specifically fraud. But I will do everything else that we can to remind people of when voting occurs and when I don't know how many people have been involved in early voting, but I almost early vote all the time. I think it is a great tool. We're going to make certain that we text people and remind them of the votes and help them get into that. It's a repetition, of what you have to do. Such a privilege to be able to vote, and I think some of our folks, not on purpose all the time, but take it for granted. I know other countries and nations, they wish that we had this great process of democracy, and elections assures us that those freedoms continue to exist. And I will do everything I can to try to encourage and inform people so that they can become a better voter.
Rick Edmonds, candidate for Secretary of State in Louisiana. Thanks for your time. Look forward to meeting you. And next time you're in town, please stop by.
I'm going to call you guys and come by and see you.
Sounds good. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
17 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Political analyst Scott Hughes a couple of minutes away. Lots going on.
Oh, boy.
Lots going on this week in the mayor's race. If you have not heard,
Ooh-wee.
How long did you spend on that tracking down that mayor's soundbite yesterday?
An hour or so.
Play that again in the next segment. We're making on. We got.
No, that's not it. We're talking about the Greg Tarver stuff here. This is what we're talking about next.
So when Scott comes in, and he's going to talk about the mayor's race, which
Yeah.
has to do with Greg Tarver and Adrian Perkins.
Yeah.
But we're not going to talk about the
Policing.
We're not going to talk about the policing. We're not going to
No.
talk with Scott about the plan.
No.
We're not going to talk about where the mayor is in total conflict with Chief Prater.
We'll get to that eventually. We got so much to do today.
I can't believe. Okay. I'm not going to argue with you. You're going on vacation. You're a mad woman. 18 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Traffic and weather updates coming up right now. Here's Brandon.
Good morning. So far, traffic looks pretty smooth in the Shreveport-Bossier City area. Construction, however, might slow you down on I-220 just north of Cross Lake and on I-20 just east of the Shreveport Regional Airport. If you see anything else, make sure you let us know by calling us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. A good deal of sunshine and hot today. The high 99. Clear, warm, and muggy tonight. Low 77. Sunshine tomorrow. High 98. Plenty of sunshine Sunday. High 99. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Dan Petanowski.
Robert here, KEEL Sports. Is there any other way to say it than poor Arkansas? Freshman Kevin Abel pitched a 2-hit shutout in the deciding game of baseball's College World Series. Oregon State tops the Razorbacks 5-0. They win the national championship. Jerry Kelly has a 2-stroke lead at the U.S. Senior Open. That in Colorado Springs, Colorado. 2 Shreveport guys in the mix. No surprise, David Toms at even par. Maybe a little surprising, Shreveport amateur Robbie McWilliams. He shot +3. World Cup soccer, 4 teams move on to the round of 16. Winners yesterday, Colombia, Poland, Tunisia, and the always underrated Belgians. And as anticipated, Tampa Bay Bucks quarterback Jameis Winston suspended 3 games, the first 3 of the upcoming season. Winston accused of making unwanted sexual physical advances on a female Uber driver in 2016. That's sports. 1017 FM, 710 KEEL.
Hi, I'm
1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Shreveport Security Systems text line is 318-392-1884. Here for a bit is political analyst Scott Hughes. Welcome back to KEEL. Thank you for taking time.
Good morning, Robert and Erin.
Hold on. Thank you for taking time.
Glad to be here.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Okay, so quite the week in Shreveport mayoral politics.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the first story we want to tackle, we want to take up with you is the... It wasn't really an interview. It was just sort of a phone conversation that Erin had with State Senator Greg Tarver.
And I asked him if he was supporting Adrian Perkins. Was he going to come out and support him officially? And he said, I'm no longer supporting Mr. Perkins. And this is the quote. Adrian Perkins is not the person I thought he was. He is not a man of his word. And he misrepresented himself to me. That's a direct quote. Surprised by that?
A little surprising. It could mean one of several things, but, I mean, Greg clearly didn't seem to mince his words with that quote.
No, he didn't. Something obviously happened. Is that what you would think? Something's obviously happened because they were obviously together when this all started.
Something's happened, and I did hear your interview earlier in the week when you talked about this, and as I've thought about it, it really can be one of 3 things. I don't know today which it is. On the surface level, clearly it could indicate something personal's happened. The kind of quote seems to be beyond political. It seems to almost be personal. So something personal could have happened that could be family related. There was a family connection there growing. It could indicate that. It could indicate that that Greg has decided that his support of Adrian hurts him politically. Sort of what Muhammad Ali called the rope-a-dope kind of effect. He could be playing a game on people, and I think that was covered at some point.
You mean Tarver's support hurts Perkins?
Tarver could be hearing that his support could hurt Perkins.
Okay.
Some candidates are going to run exclusively pretty much in the Republican field, the Democratic field, the white field, the African-American community. Perkins is trying to cross over. I think his real hope is to attract voters from both the Democrat and Republican, black and white. And Tarver's support might hurt him in one of those camps. So Greg may be playing a political ploy, although the words sound a little harsh for that.
Yes.
And the third option is Greg could be looking at the field. Remember, we don't have a field yet. The qualifying's 2 weeks away. And so Greg could be looking at the field. He could be looking at polling numbers, the race, and decide that his candidate can't make it to the finals.
You know,
and
he
may be jumping horses. But this seems a little harsh for that.
You're not the first person to speculate that perhaps Senator Tarver's motivation might be more political, that it might not be. They might be playing a couple of games here. And in fact, one of Shreveport's already declared mayoral candidates texted Erin and said, I'll believe, I'm paraphrasing just a bit but not by much, I'll believe that Tarver isn't backing Perkins when he says what he said to Erin in the black churches.
Well, and I heard that comment earlier. What I'll say is, I haven't talked to Greg. As I've been out of town for a couple of days, so I have not had a conversation with Greg. I'll believe that Greg has changed horses when he publicly comes out and says who he's supporting. I think until that point, it's just going to be speculation. And one of the issues when you look at campaigns is, as I said a second ago, no one's qualified yet. We don't know who the field is.
Mm-hmm.
And when you talk in terms of the support of Greg Tarver, the support of what's traditionally a political machine in this town, you're not going to really know where that support is till really Election Day.
Okay.
Who does Greg put on his ballot? Who does Greg have his inner circle, which includes a lot of African-American ministers and churches? And I think that's the comment you're referring to, Robert. Until you hear Tarver openly say, I'm supporting this person, anything can be mended. In today's politics, particularly the national politics, but if you bring it back down home, there's almost nothing you can say anymore that you can't undo. And so as this is 2 weeks before qualifying, and we're hearing all this, but we could wake up back, coming up in October, and we could be in a whole new situation. Problems can be rectified.
Let me ask you, let's run through the list then. You say Tarver could pick one of the other horses in the field. How realistically could he pick Ollie Tyler?
At this point, I don't think he'd pick Ollie Tyler. I think he may have supported her quietly the last election. The problem you have is that Greg Tarver has traditionally squared off against Cedric Glover.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll go there first. I don't see Greg coming around and supporting Stephen Jackson, who largely is supported by Glover and is in that camp. And so that's the big traditional split in the African-American community.
Which camp would you put Ollie in? A lot of people have said it was Glover, but she'll say no.
She's in neither camp. I think she probably ran more with the Glover support last time. She certainly had some people around her who were directly in the Glover camp. In fact, Stephen Jackson, who is the candidate this time, actually worked for Glover and then later worked for Ollie for a year as her legislative aide down in Baton Rouge. So I don't think that Tarver's going to go in with Glover. They have been at odds way too long, all the way back to Alphonse Jackson, Lydia Jackson's dad. That split has been there. So I don't think he's going to. He could go with Tyler. But I think Greg is a realist. I think he sees Tyler's has a real struggle to get to the finals right now.
And he has a history, pardon me, of crossing not only party but racial lines, and with his support, as I recall, of Hightower, right?
Correct. I think what's important with Greg, what's important in this race is this is the race for the mayor of Shreveport. But this is also the race behind the scenes to determine who are important people in Shreveport, who are the power brokers. And as you just mentioned, I think Greg has a long history of not really caring who the mayor is, not really caring if they're Republican, Democrat, white, or black. What he ends up caring is, am I the most powerful person in my community?
As long as he has the mayor's ear?
Correct. And so I think that you could look across the aisle, so to say, in this race, and you have candidates over there. At this point, that's where I'm going to just hold and see what Greg does, because until Greg personally comes out and says I'm for somebody, I think we're just speculating.
But if you were a Jim Talifero or a Leo Savage, would you even want or welcome Greg Tarver's support?
I would not in the first round. I don't think it's despite everything that's happened, the dynamics of the first round may not have changed very much. You still are going to have a large field. At this point, could be as many as 8, 9, who knows who else files. So you have a large field, so the dynamics do not change. The person that can get 25% makes the finals in this type of a field. So if I'm Leo Savage, if I'm Jim Talifero, I'm not sure I make any deal right now. I'm not sure I'm looking for the support of anyone controversial. I can probably stay on my path and get to my 25 or 30% and make the finals. The dynamics might change on the African-American side slightly in that Adrian might be a favorite over Stephen Jackson right now, depending on some, maybe that flips. Maybe Jackson's now a slight favorite over Perkins. But at the end of the day, I'm not sure any of them makes huge changes related to Greg Tarver's position. Now, when you get to the finals, and you have to have crossover vote. If you're African-American and need to get some white vote, if you're white and need to get some African-American vote, now Greg's support becomes very important.
Gotcha.
Scott Hughes, political analyst. We'll go to break. Lots more to talk about when we get back. The mayor's race and beyond.
I got a little bomb to drop on you when we get back, okay?
It would surprise me if you didn't.
Yeah. Might want to get that poncho there, buddy, like a Gallagher show in here. 29 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Brandon.
A minor hit and run slowing things down at Bicknell Drive and Hearn Avenue in Shreveport. Other than that, no reported slowdowns or accidents in the Shreveport-Bossier City area at this time. But if you see something, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. A good deal of sunshine and hot today. The high 99. Clear, warm, and muggy tonight. Low 77. Sunshine tomorrow. High 98. Plenty of sunshine Sunday. High 99. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Dan Petanowski.
The Army.
And Do It Best stores.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
The crime-fighting debate in Shreveport still has a lot of folks scratching their heads. We asked Sheriff Steve Prater if there is a plan to work with Shreveport police to help.
There's no plan to, in going forward, there's no real plan that's going to impact crime. We may do an operation here or there, but it'll be a time-sensitive thing. It won't be a permanent thing.
Chief Alan Crump tells us he is a bit frustrated by all the social media chatter over this.
Everybody's trying to create some type of confusion, some type of disarray, and if everybody would just be honest, a lot of the confusion, a lot of the nonsense would not even be there.
Crump tells us he welcomes help from the sheriff, but the city is not asking for funding from the parish. House fire in Bossier City leads to an hour-long standoff. Reuben Wright with more.
Bossier firefighters responding to a house fire in the 4800 block at Jeb Stewart Place were stopped by a man with a gun. The man was able to keep emergency responders and police at bay for over an hour, but not long after the SWAT team showed up, the man was taken into custody. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Reuben Wright.
An MPC member looking to bring the old Shreveport Country Club back to life. MPC member Curtis Joseph has proposed $240 million project to bring back the country club under the name Renaissance Hills. Along with John Henry Jr., who operates Chariot Companies, they plan to buy the golf course along with an additional 33 acres to build a hotel, restaurant, and office complex. Preschool and other learning in deep trouble in Louisiana. Care and education for children under age 4. It's hard to find in our state. 144,000 children are in need of early education, and those households primarily consist of single working parents or both parents who work during the day. A study out of Tulane says 90% of a child's brain development happens between birth and the age of 4. After 4 years behind bars, Jesus Martinez has been sentenced to 37 years for attempted rape and kidnapping. This comes after Martinez followed a woman home from a Shreveport nightclub, broke into her apartment, bound her hands and feet, and attempted to rape her. Martinez, who has a previous charge from an 04 for sexual battery, was identified through DNA evidence. Republicans taking stock of how things went during the special session. House GOP Chairman Lance Harris says they were able to score a few wins.
At the end of the day, we prevented the governor from increasing personal income taxes and stopped them from raising almost $500 million in unnecessary taxes.
Now Louisiana no longer leads the nation for incarcerations. That distinction is now locked up by Oklahoma. Governor John Bel Edwards says the inmate population is falling in Louisiana.
Admission to our prisons for drug possession is down by 47%. Admissions for first-time felonies is down by 18%. And that's creating those alternatives to prison, those alternatives that are going to work better.
Police say a deadly shooting at an Annapolis, Maryland newspaper was a targeted attack.
This person was prepared today to come in. This person was prepared to shoot people. His intent was to cause harm.
The shooting left 5 people dead, 2 wounded. Police say the newspaper also got threats of violence over social media. The suspect is in custody. Mississippi police break up a huge moonshine operation. Agents seized more than 80 gallons of moonshine and more than 10 grand in cash. They also found a 6-barrel still containing 300 gallons of mash. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
In 19
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Another short segment, then another long segment with Scott Hughes, political analyst.
Do I come with the uppercut first?
No, hold on to the long segment. Okay. Because I have a comment about that I haven't told you. You're talking about the Tarver stuff. And I have a comment about that I want to ask Scott, and you can react to also. You had said something interesting. Erin had said to you regarding a possible endorsement for mayor by Greg Tarver. And she said, is that something that Taliaferro and or Leo Savage would want? And you said, not at this time, i.e. the primary, perhaps down the line for the general election if they make it that far. And I just made a little note here. What kind of political maneuvering must that take if you're Jim Taliaferro, if you're Leo Savage, if you're chatting with Greg Tarver, and you say, listen, I'd love to have your support, just not yet. How do you phrase something like that? Like, I love you, buddy, because you're one of the most powerful men in Shreveport, but could you keep it
on the DL,
on the down low for about another 75 days or whatever?
Well, I think if you are a political camp trying to have that conversation, we find out right there how good you are at political skills.
And or does Greg, given his history, his political acumen, does he get that?
Oh, he gets it.
I think Greg Tarver is probably one of the most politically smart people in this community. A lot of people have issues with Greg. I like to remind people, if you don't follow Baton Rouge, whenever you get down in Baton Rouge to the end of the day, where the Senate committee has to get together with the House committee, there's 3 from the Senate, there's 3 from the House. Just look at the list. Tarver is almost always one of those 3, along with John Ilario on the Senate side. So Greg understands politics inside and out. So if someone were to have that conversation with Greg, he would understand it. If he was going to back somebody, certainly he wants that person to make the finals. That's step one.
Sure.
You can't worry about winning the race. You have to worry about making the finals. And so if you're a sophisticated candidate and you're approaching Greg for his support, if it's available, we're not sure about that right now, in my opinion. I don't think it's a conversation that insults Greg. I think it shows Greg you're politically savvy.
Can you hold the thought? I apologize. We're at break time.
No, real quick. What percent of the vote does Greg bring you? I mean, if Greg Tarver's in your camp, what do you get immediately?
I'm not sure that we can answer that right now. Generally, you're looking at Shreveport that has over 50% African American registration.
Mm-hmm.
Traditionally, Greg and Alphonse Jackson, now Glover's kind of political machine. They can traditionally split the vote based on any given race, based on the candidate. So you're looking maybe between 15 and 20%, 15 and 25% of the Shreveport electorate on any given day.
Right.
And depending on the candidate, and that could be very significant.
Scott Hughes, political analyst. More on the way. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, 739. Friday morning traffic. Here's Brandon.
A minor hit and run slowing things down at Bicknell Drive and Hearn Avenue in Shreveport. Other than that, no reported slowdowns or accidents in the Shreveport-Bossier City area at this time. But if you see something, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. A good deal of sunshine and hot today. The high 99. Clear, warm, and muggy tonight. Low 77. Sunshine tomorrow. High 98. Plenty of sunshine Sunday. High 99. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Dan Petanowski.
You know. .101.7 FM, 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Another segment with political analyst Scott Hughes. Okay.
I have two big points I got to get to.
Hold on. Okay, you have a coin?
No.
Because trust me, this is going to set up your Tarver stuff. I promise. You have more Tarver stuff?
No, I have other things in the race I want to get to.
Okay, I've got one more Tarver thing.
You're wasting a minute now.
I've got more Tarver stuff I want to bring up.
Well, hurry.
Because Erin, after the Tarver news, where he throws Adrian under the bus earlier this week, he's not the man I thought he was, etc. And Erin got off the phone with him, with Mr. Gregg, and was like, I can't believe he said what he said. You're not going to believe what Tarver said. You're not going to believe what I just found out. And she said all that, and one of the first things I said to her was when she said, can you believe he said those things? And I said, how long do you think he's been sitting on that, waiting for someone to ask? Yes?
The fact that he replied to you would tell me he's been wanting to say that to somebody. I mean, Greg has largely been gone. He's been to special sessions. He hasn't been around. Adrian's been running his. If you look at the facts, Adrian's been running his campaign. You haven't really seen any external influence of Greg on the campaign, any appearances, etc. So he clearly was looking for someone to ask him that question.
Okay, here we go. Jeff Sato was on with us day before yesterday, 2 days ago, and said there are really only two candidates in this race right now, Ollie Tyler and Stephen Jackson. Would you disagree with that?
No, I think Dr. Satos he's going to the second round. You know, you've heard me talk about the multiple rounds. And so I think what Dr. Satos is referring to is most that follow the race believe that the person that wins the Democratic primary, the African-American primary, the way it works out, probably has a huge leg up to win this race, because it has proven a heavy lift for a white candidate to get the required crossover vote. I mean, you go back to, you go all the way back to we were talking about the 94 race when Hazel Beard beat C.O. Simpkins, and the race used to be the other way. The white candidate used to always be the one, if they won the white primary, they would win. But ever since Jerry Jones ran against Cedric Glover, and Jerry Jones could not get over that hump, and Cedric won his first term, the race has kind of flipped. You tend to give the advantage to whoever comes out of, if they're a strong candidate, and I think we have several strong candidates in the African-American field.
Okay, you got your big boy britches on. So here we go. Would you be surprised if Ollie Tyler does not qualify in 2 weeks?
No, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Matter of fact, I'm not going to mention a name, but I've heard rumors that there are people that are waiting to get in the race if Ollie did not get in the race. And so, out of complete respect to the mayor, she is the incumbent. She could be a strong candidate if she runs, but it would not surprise me. We are seeing a mayor candidate that starts out with practically no money in the bank. And you hate to talk money in politics, but it is the blood that runs a political machine. And for an incumbent mayor, she's starting out with a weak bankroll. You don't really see her out campaigning a whole lot. And whether it's fair or not, the mayor's office, the city of Shreveport, is taking a lot of heat right now.
In much that same vein, can you recall a time, and we've talked about this a couple of times, can you remember a time when an incumbent mayor faced such a daunting challenge in this case, from Jackson and Perkins?
The last race I go to, when you ask me the question, I go to Bo Williams. I think Bo Williams was there for 4 years, and that was the Keith Hightower wave. And I think it didn't matter that Bo had been maybe an effective administrator. He got tagged with a bunch of things that took place, and there was a perception. And Keith represented to many people youth. He represented a new direction for Shreveport, and Bo never stood a chance in that race. Matter of fact, Bo withdrew from the runoff. If you remember the race, Bo and Keith make the runoff, and Bo decides not to run the runoff. He withdraws, and Keith becomes mayor. And so Ollie may have many of the same dynamics, and to put the two together, maybe to jump ahead of your question, to put the two together is, if Ollie's not going to file, then that might open the field for somebody else to get in, and that might explain some of the Tarver situation. Again, we'll wait and see. Until Greg endorses somebody, I'm not committing him anywhere.
If Ollie Tyler were to call you and say, I want to sit down with you and I want to ask you a couple questions, and she said to you, Scott Hughes, what have I done wrong in the past 3 years, and what have I done right? What would you tell her?
I think what Ollie has done right is what Ollie does. If you followed her as the superintendent of schools, the state assistant superintendent of schools, Ollie tries to be a very positive person. She tries to work with everybody. She tries to project an image that all is well. She tries to project, and she's a competent manager. I'm not going to say, I don't think you can prove she's incompetent manager, okay? So she's a competent manager, and I think she tries to put out a good picture of what's going on. If you look at the things she did early on, let's clean up Shreveport. Let's look at beautification. Now, ironically, that has come back to bite her a little bit here in the end, because, and you yourself have done some of this, with the streets and the mowing. I think in the end that leaders often get tagged with what takes place during their term. And I'll just close with, look at Kathleen Blanco. Kathleen Blanco got hit with Hurricane Katrina. There was nothing she could do to overcome the hurricane and the imagery with that. I think with Ollie and with the social media and the constant reporting of the crime going on, it doesn't matter if crime's up or down. In reality, it's up to the voter. It's Ollie's fault, and she's got the police chief. I think that's going to be her albatross at the end.
Now, when you look at the major issues in the coming mayor's race, and I had made this point last week, it's jobs and the economy and it's crime and it's law and order. And I said, hell, at election time, everybody becomes a Republican. I mean, am I wrong? Everybody is running on Republican issues. What I describe as state Democrats, they're like micro Republicans, macro Democrats.
Oh yeah, I mean, one of the old sayings is "run to the right, govern to the left." Everybody wants the conservative. Everybody wants to know you're going to take care of their money. Everybody wants to know you're going to protect them. Everybody wants to know you're going to build roads and do good things. And then you inevitably get in office and you find out that you're not the king. You have to work with elected representatives, city council in the case of mayor, or the legislature in the case of the governor. And then you find out that you don't have an unlimited checkbook. You find out that there are, in the case of Shreveport, needs that exceed revenue.
Mhm.
And it becomes a problem. And I think that Ollie came in and she's inherited that problem. And at the end of the day, whether it's right or wrong, she's gonna be probably the victim of what is perceived to be Shreveport heading in a down direction.
Do you expect any other bombshells to be dropped in this race between now and when they qualify, or it's going to kind of stay low key until we see who's signing up?
I think we probably have seen the field. I say the Ollie question is the big one that's out there. I don't think you're going to see. Well, I don't think you'll see anybody else get in from the Republican or from the white side of the equation. You've already got some. Already think you have one too many with Lee Savage and with Talaferro sort of fighting that battle out there. You could have an opening on the African American or Democratic side. I see no real bombshells. Where I see the bombs going off right now are the city council races. I mean, we're focusing up here on the mayor's race, and ultimately the real power, the change is going to take place at the city council. And you're seeing things like Willie Bradford announcing he may not run again. You're seeing, I think, 5 people in District B, 3 or 4 in District C. The council races are shaping up as the battleground.
Scott Hughes, always a pleasure to have you join us. Thanks so much.
Great stuff, man. Great
Thank
to
you
see
all.
you as
Glad to be
always.
home.
Glad to have you home. 751, 1017 FM, 710 Keel traffic update. Brandon's here.
Friday morning traffic looks nice and smooth so far in the Shreveport-Bossier City area, but if you see something, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline at 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. A good deal of sunshine and hot today. The high 99. Clear, warm, and muggy tonight. Low 77. Sunshine tomorrow. High 98. Plenty of sunshine Sunday. High 99. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Dan Pedanowski.
Robert here, Keel Sports. Is there any other way to say it than poor Arkansas? Freshman Kevin Abel pitched the 2-hit shutout in the deciding game of baseball's College World Series. Oregon State tops the Razorbacks 5-0. They win the national championship. Jerry Kelly has a 2-stroke lead at the U.S. Senior Open. That in Colorado Springs, Colorado. 2 Shreveport guys in the mix. No surprise, David Toms at even par. Maybe a little surprising, Shreveport amateur Robbie McWilliams. He shot +3. World Cup soccer, 4 teams move on to the round of 16. Winners yesterday, Colombia, Poland, Tunisia, and the always underrated Belgians. And as anticipated, Tampa Bay Bucks quarterback Jameis Winston suspended 3 games, the first 3 of the upcoming season. Winston accused of making unwanted sexual physical advances on a female Uber driver in 2016. That's sports. 1017 FM, 710 Keel.
Are your
1017 FM and 710 Keel. Robert and Erin coming up just past 8 o'clock. Still a lot of he said, she said.
Is there a plan? Is there not a plan?
Well, the mayor says, and you hunted for the soundbite yesterday, going back, a couple of months?
June 11th? No. 2 weeks.
So, oh my goodness, at the city council working session, which is the Monday, and where Miss Ollie is talking about there is a plan, crime-fighting plan. We are working with the sheriff's department. We've got a crime-fighting plan, working on a plan. We are putting that plan together. That plan is being implemented.
My people are meeting with his people on a plan.
And then we had Sheriff Steve yesterday, and you said, so tell us about the plan. And he says, do you want the politically correct answer, or do you want the Steve Prater answer?
Oh, I always want the Steve Prater answer.
And he pauses and he says, well, there's no plan.
There's no plan.
There's no plan. Then,
Yikes.
In that same chat with Sheriff Prater, in the very same conversation, you say, are you kind of working with the SPD? What plan is being put together? What have you heard from them? And he basically says, well, all we're doing is this warrant thing. Then later in the show, yesterday, we have Chief Crump on, and you say, are you working with the sheriff's department? And he says, yeah, we've got this warrant thing.
Oh, come on. They do that all the time.
All I'm saying is,
I'm not an ultramaroon.
Well, do you think, and we talk about this all the time with politicians who look at the very same thing and draw 100% different conclusion.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you think, and you don't have to answer, this is a rhetorical question.
Show me the plan.
When Chief Crump said to you and me, yeah, we've got this warrant thing, do you think he was just spinning? Or do you think he thinks that that's a really cool deal and that's a good first step and it's plenty, when on the other hand, Sheriff Prater is going, we do that all the time.
I'm not answering that.
If you missed the Ollie Tyler, if you missed the Steve Prater sound bites from earlier this morning, somewhat contradictory, they are next. Right now, here's Hannity on Keel.
Waking up on the right side. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
All right, so the president has an incredibly successful summit with the North Korean leader, Kim Jong-un, negotiating now the denuclearization of the entire Korean peninsula. A historic deal by the president, major step, the possibilities of peace now so much greater than they were just 6 months ago. So how does the left and liberals respond? Well, Newsbusters points out Congresswoman Nancy Crumbs Pelosi tweeting, in haste to reach an agreement at real Donald Trump elevated North Korea to the level of the United States while preserving the regime's status quo. Of course she doesn't want Trump to be successful. Why? Because if he's successful, she will never be speaker again.
From coast to coast, from sea to shining sea, it's the Sean Hannity Show.
What interest rate would you rather pay on your credit card debt? 17% or less than 6% APR? The answer is obvious, Lightstream. Because with Lightstream, you may be able to consolidate credit card debt and dramatically cut your interest rate to as low as 5.89% APR with AutoPay. Plus, radio listeners get an additional rate discount. Just go to lightstream.com/yes. With average interest rates on credit card debt at 17% APR, Lightstream could save you thousands in interest. And because Lightstream is a division of SunTrust Bank, one of the nation's largest and strongest financial institutions, you can have complete peace of mind. The application takes just minutes, and there are no fees and no pressure. Just lower rates, one low fixed monthly payment, and huge savings. So if you have good credit, apply today and get a special interest rate discount when you go to lightstream.com/yes. That's lightstream.com/yes. Lightstream.com/yes.
Subject to credit approval. Rate includes 0.5% autopay discount. Terms and conditions apply, and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com.
A minor hit and run slowing things down at Bicknell Drive and Hearn Avenue in Shreveport. Other than that, no reported slowdowns or accidents in the Shreveport-Bossier City area at this time. But if you see something, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Here's your KeelAccuWeather.com forecast. Sunny and hot today in the upper 90s. It is 82 at Keel.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. KEEL, Shreveport. The KEEL Morning Show with Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Breaking news and trending talk on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Good morning. It's 8:03. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Miss Erin, local news, getting it ready right now.
Crime fighting in Shreveport. We'll be talking more about that. The governor says prison population is down, and there is a new plan to refurbish the Shreveport Country Club.
Well, Linda Robertson, it's the lead program in league, if you will, with the YWCA, something that Erin knows a lot about, and she, Miss Belinda, joins us momentarily. She said, he said, talking about the
power of information. KEEL News now.
The crime-fighting debate in Shreveport still has a lot of folks scratching their heads. We asked Sheriff Steve Prater if there is a plan to work with Shreveport police to help.
There's no plan to, in going forward, there's no real plan to that's going to impact crime. We may do an operation here or there, but it'll be a time-sensitive thing. It won't be a permanent thing.
Chief Alan Crump tells us he is a bit frustrated by all the social media chatter over this.
Everybody's trying to create some type of confusion, some type of disarray. And if everybody would just be honest, a lot of the confusion, a lot of the nonsense would not even be there.
Crump tells us he welcomes help from the sheriff, but the city is not asking for funding from the parish. House fire in Bossier City leads to an hour-long standoff. Reuben Wright with more.
Bossier firefighters responding to a house fire in the 4800 block at Jeb Stewart Place were stopped by a man with a gun. The man was able to keep emergency responders and police at bay for over an hour, but not long after the SWAT team showed up, the man was taken into custody. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Reuben Wright.
An MPC member looking to bring the old Shreveport Country Club back to life. MPC member Curtis Joseph has proposed $240 million project to bring back the country club under the name Renaissance Hills. Along with John Henry Jr., who operates Chariot Companies, they plan to buy the golf course along with an additional 33 acres to build a hotel, restaurant, and office complex. Preschool and other learning in deep trouble in Louisiana. Care and education for children under age 4. It's hard to find in our state. 144,000 children are in need of early education, and those households primarily consist of single working parents or both parents who work during the day. A study out of Tulane says 90% of a child's brain development happens between birth and the age of 4. After 4 years behind bars, Jesus Martinez has been sentenced to 37 years for attempted rape and kidnapping. This comes after Martinez followed a woman home from a Shreveport nightclub, broke into her apartment, bound her hands and feet, and attempted to rape her. Martinez, who has a previous charge from an 2004 for sexual battery, was identified through DNA evidence. Republicans taking stock of how things went during the special session. House GOP Chairman Lance Harris says they were able to score a few wins.
At the end of the day, we prevented the governor from increasing personal income taxes and stopped him from raising almost $500 million in unnecessary taxes.
Now Louisiana no longer leads the nation for incarcerations. That distinction is now locked up by Oklahoma. Governor John Bel Edwards says the inmate population is falling in Louisiana.
Admission to our prisons for drug possession is down by 47%. Admissions for first-time felonies is down by 18%. And that's creating those alternatives to prison, those alternatives that are going to work better.
Police say a deadly shooting at an Annapolis, Maryland newspaper was a targeted attack.
This person was prepared today to come in. This person was prepared to shoot people. His intent was to cause harm.
The shooting left 5 people dead, 2 wounded. Police say the newspaper also got threats of violence over social media. The suspect is in custody. Mississippi police break up a huge moonshine operation. Agents seized more than 80 gallons of moonshine and more than 10 grand in cash. They also found a 6-barrel still containing 300 gallons of mash. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
What interest?
Nine past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Traffic time for Friday. Here's Brandon.
A minor hit and run slowing things down at Bicknell Drive and Hearn Avenue in Shreveport. Other than that, no reported slowdowns or accidents in the Shreveport-Bossier City area at this time. But if you see something, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. A good deal of sunshine and hot today. The high 99. Clear, warm, and muggy tonight. Low 77. Sunshine tomorrow. High 98. Plenty of sunshine Sunday. High 99. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Dan Petanowski.
Good morning. It's 8:12. Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty, 101.7. Tell you later. 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Shreveport Security Systems text line is always 318-392-1884.
Dr. Belinda Robertson joins us. She is the Executive Director of the YWCA of Northwest Louisiana. We were talking with the folks at the Community Foundation the other day, and I mentioned the YW's LEAD program, and Robert's eyes just lit up. I was talking about how this empowers young girls, and the program has touched so many lives already. Explain to folks that are listening what the LEAD program is, what it's about.
The LEAD program, well, LEAD stands for Leadership, Empowerment, and Development. And it's a program for preteens and teen girls ages 12 to 18. And what we do is offer girls an opportunity to develop their leadership skills. We teach them about self-respect, healthy relationships, love and dating, goal setting, drug and alcohol abuse awareness, and personal safety when it comes to being online and social and using social media.
We talk at length about, fighting crime in our city and changing the way people's attitudes are. And when I was talking to Christy with the Community Foundation, I said, if more girls went through a program like this, we could change the fundamentals of our city. You believe in that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Our girls are struggling. I've heard that from several principals at schools in Shreveport.
Pardon me, Dr. Boyd. What do you mean when you say struggling? What does that mean?
With their social skills, the schools are doing a fantastic job teaching them the educational side, but they are still struggling with the social side of how to interact, how to communicate, how to be angry and demonstrate your anger without hurting anyone or going beyond where you need to go.
In other words, the world might be a little bit bigger than that small when you know, and the answer to everything is not always to lash out.
Correct.
And we also see teenage girls using their sexuality in ways that they're too young to get involved. This program focuses a lot on self-esteem, where girls can take their own life by the horns, I guess you would say.
Absolutely. And self-esteem and self-respect, and learning to value who you are and that you are worthy of being respected.
Mm-hmm. How many girls have you served so far? And I guess it's 100. I've seen a figure of over 350. I think
that was last year. Yeah.
Okay.
We service, and this year it's going to be even more. So we service around 300. Last year was 330 girls in the program directly, and then another about 140 girls through workshops.
Okay. If a teacher or a principal or somebody's listening and says, I would love some of the girls in my school to get involved, what do they need to do? How do they sign up to participate?
All they have to do is call the YWCA. We are there every Monday through Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Our number is 318-550-4417, and all they have to do is call and say they want their girls to get involved, and we will set up an appointment and go talk to them and schedule a time that we actually come to them. This is a program where we come to the school and it's not just schools. We go to the Boys and Girls Club, the Lighthouse, and some other organizations. We go to them so that they don't have to transport the kids.
And the commitment, the kids are involved in the LEAD program for how long?
During the whole entire school year. Now, we have another program. It's called Young Women Choosing Action, that's active during the summer, and that's our trauma-informed leadership program. We just started that, and what we're hoping to do is to take the girls from the trauma-informed leadership program in the summer and then incorporate them into the LEAD program so that they have year-round activities.
Imagine, Robert, if we could change the thought process.
Well, let me speak bluntly, if I might. The biggest problem facing our society is children having children, babies having babies. I had asked Erin originally when she was describing this to me, I said, is this kind of like an abstinence class? And I mean that in sort of the best way. How do you approach that where, like I said earlier, there's a little bit more to the world than you see, and there might be a better outcome than the one you know about?
Well, we focus on being goal-oriented. So it's not going in and saying we want you to be abstinent or even addressing the sexual issue. We're saying we want you to be goal-oriented. Let's figure out what you want to do when you finish high school, and let's take you step by step so that you have the self-respect and know how to communicate and know how to make good decisions to help you achieve your goals.
In other words, I can go to school, I could go to college, I could have a career or whatever, and let them sort of figure it out themselves, that as a result, if I know I can achieve these things, then probably having a baby at 15 ain't the best way to do it.
Exactly.
All right.
It's setting them up for success. And they may go to college, traditional college, or a non-traditional upper education school. It may not be traditional college, but we want them to go beyond high school and to become successful. So we want to give them the skills that they can use to get to that point.
And you're always needing incentives for these girls in the program. If you've got a business and you want to donate some certificates or something like that, get in touch with me and I will get them to you. Another event coming up real quick, August 23rd. It's the Women Who Care Share Luncheon. What's the theme this year?
This year's theme is the power of women, and we're going to focus on talking to our audience about how they can become empowered as well as participate in the public service arena a little bit more.
Looking forward to some big announcements with regard to that and the guests. That's going to be great. And that's going to be at East Ridge Country Club.
That is.
Wonderful.
Before she takes off,
yeah.
would you run down the lead information for folks at schools and or elsewhere who might want to get in touch and say, I know some kids, this might really help them. It might give them better lives not only now, but down the line.
LEAD is Leadership, Empowerment, and Development. And if you need more info, give Dr. Belinda a call at 550-4417.
Awesome. Or get in touch with you because you're pretty smart yourself sometimes.
Every now and then.
Dr. Belinda, thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you.
A pleasure as always.
Thank you
18
both.
past, just changed, 19 past 8, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. You are waving frantically, yes?
We're going to see if we have a plan.
I beg your pardon?
We're going to see if we have a plan.
Okay, see, when you hold your phone up and wave it, that means we have a guess.
Well, no, because that's all I have to wave at you right now.
Thank you for not throwing
I'm
it.
not waving what I normally wave.
It's on the way. Maybe there's a contradiction in statements made by city leaders we will explore. 19 past 8, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Traffic update. Brandon's here.
A minor hit and run slowing things down at Bignell Drive and Hearn Avenue in Shreveport. Other than that, no reported slowdowns or accidents in the Shreveport-Bossier City area at this time. But if you see something, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sunshine and hot today, high 99. Clear, warm, and sticky tonight, low 77. Plenty of sunshine, hot, and humid again tomorrow, the high 98. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Dan Padanowski.
In 19
Robert here, Keel Sports. Is there any other way to say it than poor Arkansas? Freshman Kevin Abel pitched a 2-hit shutout in the deciding game of baseball's College World Series. Oregon State tops the Razorbacks 5-0. They win the national championship. Jerry Kelly has a 2-stroke lead at the U.S. Senior Open. That in Colorado Springs, Colorado. 2 Shreveport guys in the mix. No surprise, David Toms at even par. Maybe a little surprising, Shreveport amateur Robbie McWilliams. He shot +3. World Cup soccer, 4 teams move on to the round of 16. Winners yesterday, Colombia, Poland, Tunisia, and the always underrated Belgians. And as anticipated, Tampa Bay Bucks quarterback Jameis Winston suspended 3 games, the first 3 of the upcoming season. Winston accused of making unwanted sexual physical advances on a female Uber driver in 2016. That's sports. 1017 FM, 710 Keel.
Finding
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert and Erin, 23 past 8 o'clock. Curtis Joseph, who sits on the Metropolitan Planning Commission, is doing a lot of metropolitan planning. Not only is he a frontman for Gateway Development Consortium, who is the 10-year billion-dollar plan for Cross Bayou. Mr. Curtis is one of the lead guys on that, and there have been some rumblings of that might be some conflict of interest. Now he is fronting a plan. It's called Renaissance Hills, which is a redevelopment, reinvigoration. Explain to me.
I don't know a lot about the plan.
But it has to do with the old Shreveport Country Club property.
He wants to build a hotel.
When you say he, pardon me, I assume private money that he's sort of leading the way, sort of running interference.
Yeah, he's got a couple of partners, I believe.
Now, the question can legitimately be asked, should someone on the Metropolitan Planning Commission, with a vote on what goes forward and what does not, should he be fronting developmental organizations? That sounded weird, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of questions. I mean, he won't be able to vote on anything that has to do with that.
Well, he hasn't recused himself on the Gateway Development.
Nothing that's coming even close to the MPC on that.
But when it does...
Oh, he'll have to, absolutely.
You think?
Yeah. There's no doubt.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely.
So
he'll have to recuse himself on
you're
anything.
assuming that when GDC comes up before the MPC, if and when it does...
That's never going to happen. So
you think that they only need...
This one's going to be closer than that one. This one's way closer.
You think that Theron Jackson and Curtis Joseph would both say, "Yep, we're working for them. We got nothing. We gotta back out."
Absolutely. They either recuse themselves or they resign from the MPC. There's no doubt. They couldn't vote on anything having to do with that. It wouldn't be allowed.
And yet, I say speculating, they are voting right now, fronting for this organization or these organizations. So what are they voting no on? I mean, you see what I'm saying? I mean, at some point, what kind of influence does having these jobs have on what they're doing now?
You bet.
So let's say that down the line, somebody is wanting to develop retail space or a hotel or office space. They knowing that they want to be involved or fronting a corporation that wants to build, a hotel or office space also. Would that influence them to vote no? Should they recuse themselves on anything related to anything that they're involved with?
It would be tough to vote on things that might be in competition to something you're involved with.
My point exactly. So back to the...
It looks like they may have a plan to salvage 9 to 12 holes of the golf course as part of a golf academy.
Yeah.
And then they build a hotel, a restaurant, an event center, even some housing along the Shreveport Country Club area, and an office building's also included too. And ironically, he's also got an unspecified educational building. Sounds like a lot of the things they're planning for the Cross Bayou.
Yeah.
Is this if Cross Bayou doesn't work, we're going to hedge our bets over here?
I don't know. I'm thinking out loud. Shreveport already has the David Toms 265. So does Shreveport need another golf academy? Does Shreveport need another hotel that is not near?
Can I ask you something that just doesn't go on the radio?
Go ahead.
Who's going to stay at a hotel there? I mean, that's not in a great area.
I don't know.
Who's going to stay at that
The major
hotel?
reason that Shreveport Country Club went under, as it were, had to do with the deteriorating neighborhood, had to do with that part of town, had to do with the aging of its membership in that specific neighborhood.
Would you go there if there's a great restaurant in there and some retail shops and... Would you venture over there?
Sure, I would, but you got to ask yourself, does Shreveport need more retail space? This is what we talk about with Cross Bayou. We've got empty buildings all over the place. Do we need new buildings? Does Shreveport need another golf facility?
Yeah.
When so many, bluntly put, of our golf facilities in the area are already being underused and are certainly not in the best condition. Do we need another golf facility? Who are you going to compete against? Who are you going to take clientele and or members from? I don't know.
It's a $240 million proposal. That's a lot of moolah. That's a lot of jack.
Maybe it is. Maybe that's Cross Bayou Plan B. 28 past 8 o'clock, 1017 FM, 710 Keel traffic and weather updates and local news next.
Hear that? It's the
minor hit and run slowing things down at Bicknell Drive and Hearn Avenue in Shreveport. Other than that, no reported slowdowns or accidents in the Shreveport-Bossier City area at this time. But if you see something, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline at 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. A good deal of sunshine and hot today. The high 99. Clear, warm, and muggy tonight. Low 77. Sunshine tomorrow. High 98. Plenty of sunshine Sunday. High 99. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Dan Pedanowski.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
Crime fighting in Shreveport, hot topic, and some Shreveport police officers are critical of the SPD no high-speed pursuit policy. We asked Chief Crump about that, and he says research shows
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. A good deal of sunshine and hot today. The high 99. Clear, warm, and muggy tonight. Low 77. Sunshine tomorrow. High 98. Plenty of sunshine Sunday, high 99. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Dan Pedanowski.
Jump in that briar patch and take over law enforcement in the city of Shreveport.
Chief Crump says the agencies will continue to work together on joint operations, but in terms of using deputies to patrol the city, that's not something he's moving forward to doing at this point. State lawmakers, in fact Republicans, are taking stock of a contentious series of special sessions that took 3 attempts this year to come to a resolution. GOP Chairman Lance Harris says he's pushed a series of budget transparency bills and spending reform packages that either did not clear the legislature or were vetoed by the governor. One of his main focuses, Medicaid, saw no major changes this year.
There were several bills that addressed Medicaid and Medicaid requirements that would have saved the state money, and those were defeated at every turn.
Dodie Horton of Houghton zeroed in on Medicaid as well. She says she's disappointed that further cuts were not implemented into the program that has grown significantly.
We didn't have to drastically cut other departments in order to overfund one. I feel that we stood our ground. We were so close to forcing our state to change the way we budget.
House fire in Bossier leads to an hour-long standoff. Firefighters responded to Jeb Stewart Place, but were stopped by a man with a gun. He kept them at bay for over an hour, but not long after the SWAT team showed up, the man was taken into custody. An MPC member looking to bring the old Shreveport Country Club back to life. Reuben Wright with that.
Metropolitan Planning Commission member Curtis Joseph has proposed a $240 million project to bring back Shreveport Country Club under the name Renaissance Hills. Along with John Henry Jr., who operates Chariot Companies, they plan to buy the golf course along with an additional 33 acres to build a hotel, restaurant, and an office building. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Reuben Wright.
Louisiana no longer leads the nation for incarcerations. That distinction is now locked up by Oklahoma. Governor John Bel Edwards says the change has also produced financial savings.
By our current estimates, our savings have exceeded all expectations, and we are still waiting for those numbers to be finalized as we close out this fiscal year.
The governor says a report outlining the savings will be available sometime next month. Police are seeking answers from the suspect they say opened fire at a newspaper in Annapolis, Maryland.
A white male in his late 30s in custody, and our criminal investigation division investigators are interviewing him now.
The deputy chief with the county police department, the shooting left 5 people dead, 2 others were wounded. And this is like carrying a baby until it's about 5. A woman in Alabama was in such pain, she went to the doctor and found out she had an ovarian cyst. Once removed, the cyst weighed in at 50 pounds. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Hey,
Debate in Shreveport. House fire in Bossier.
1017 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. It's 8:32. Well, it's 8:36.
Mhm.
You held up two fingers.
That's my peace sign.
I beg your pardon?
I'm about to be peace out.
Oh, yeah, you're going on vacation. You know, I got to give you credit. I do indeed.
I've been as crazy as normal.
No, because normally when you go on vacation, you
Oh.
sort of mentally check out about noon on Wednesday.
Yeah, well, because Ruben's here,
Yeah.
I couldn't leave you stranded with just Ruben and a crazy me.
I think we'd be fine. I deal with crazy you more
You don't
often
have
than
to
you
behave
realize.
yourself just for me. You know.
If you are a fan, if you're like an Arkansas fan.
Oh, poor.
I was thinking about this last night. when I saw
just
that.
want to get him some ice cream.
Exactly, when they had lost. The last time you were physically and or emotionally debilitated by a sporting event, I would guess
That's when I kicked the TV.
is when LSU lost to Alabama in the national championship game.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
as
was it.
hard as
Yeah.
you take the losses
They hurt.
every season, which now seems to average 4.
They're painful.
But the point being, the last time you felt physically ill, like I have the flu,
It was watching Alabama beat LSU for the title.
I would think that would have just laid you out.
Oh, I was.
So
yeah.
if you
fetal
are,
position McCarty.
if you are the LSU fan equivalent as an Arkansas fan,
Oh, today.
does the last 2 or 3 days lay you out?
Oh, absolutely.
If you don't know,
you need a therapist.
Arkansas lost Game 3 of the College Baseball World Series last night. The final was 5-0. They showed up flat, and they
stayed that way.
And they performed even worse. They didn't have no chance. I mean,
thought they'd come out with a shot. I really did.
no. If you
I really
didn't
did.
see Wednesday night's game, they're leading 3-2. And they're 1 out away from winning the College Baseball World Series. Foul ball down the first baseline. The first baseman, the second baseman, the right fielder all converge because it's back sort of in foul territory.
Oh, yeah.
Back behind first base. And they're all circling and they're looking up and they all look at each other and they're circling and they're
And
looking
it's
up.
right there.
And it drops between them.
It didn't fall into the stands.
No, it fell.
It didn't fall against the fence. It fell right in the middle of the triangle
in the middle
of
of
them.
the 3.
Mhm.
And so that guy gets a hit to tie the game because he's given a new life. And then a little bit later in the inning, guy hits
Homer.
a two-run home run,
Oh.
and Arkansas loses 5-3,
Oh, boy.
being this far from everything they ever wanted.
Mm.
And I said at the time, now, I don't get that invested ever in college sports. I'll say it again. They're 20 years old. I can't get that emotionally tied up in something that a child does.
Oh, I love it.
I mean, I just can't.
Mhm.
And I know all the baseball parents out there are screaming at me.
Yeah.
But I don't have kids. Biblical,
You're barren.
I'm barren.
Mhm.
So the point being that I just don't get all that wound up in something that somebody to whom I'm not related does.
Ah.
But Erin.
You're an oddity.
And Arkansas fans got to be dying this morning.
Oh, God. You had it.
Look on.
But you know, I was
do me a
really
favor.
impressed with that kid.
Let me tell you this. You can finish up. Look on Fletcher's Facebook page. Fletcher
that.
is the Arkansas equivalent of you when it comes to LSU.
Oh, is he distraught?
Look at the picture on his page.
Okay.
He looked like somebody just stole his dog.
Oh, poor
It's
darling.
it's horrible. So back to what you were going to say.
The kid who missed the ball, one of them, the
three
second
of them.
baseman.
The three
The
of
second
them.
baseman is the one who came and charged. I mean, he was zooming across.
Pardon me, if any of the 3 of them had been there by themselves, they could have made the play. The right fielder could have made the play if it weren't for the first or second baseman. The second baseman could have made the play if it weren't for the right fielder and first baseman, and the first baseman could have made the play if it weren't for the other 2, the 2nd baseman and the right
Yeah,
fielder.
absolutely.
But it was a moment of confusion.
This kid goes before the media, and, it was my bad. I made a horrible mistake. We're going to move on. This is not going to define us. We're going to move on. I was so proud of him. If I'd have been his mama, I'd have been, oh, I'm so proud of you, sweetheart. Now get your butt out there and win game 3.
And you should be. That's a very difficult moment, a life-defining moment in many ways for a bunch of 20-year-old guys.
Forever.
And then they turned around and lost. It's the Bill Buckner Red Sox. Yeah. The ball goes through Buckner's legs, 1986 World Series. You turn around, they've got the final game, the 7th game the next night, and they laid an egg. Pardon me, not unlike Arkansas.
So sad.
1017 FM and 710 Keel. If you have missed
Oh, boy.
the somewhat contradictory statements made by Mayor Tyler and Sheriff Steve Prater in our chat yesterday about what's the crime-fighting plan.
I'm so confused today, Robert.
Erin's got a couple of those we will review, and her confusion will probably
escalate,
increase. That's coming up next. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Here's traffic.
A minor hit and run slowing things down at Bicknell Drive and Hearn Avenue in Shreveport. Other than that, no reported slowdowns or accidents in the Shreveport-Bossier City area at this time. But if you see something, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. A good deal of sunshine and hot today. The high 99. Clear, warm, and muggy tonight. Low 77. Sunshine tomorrow. High 98. Plenty of sunshine Sunday. High 99. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Dan Pedanowski. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty. It's 8:42. Okay, so yesterday we had a lengthy chat with Caddo Parish Sheriff Steve Prater, and we'll get back to that in just a couple of seconds. But a great deal, the thrust, the crux of our conversation was, what's the crime-fighting plan? Is there a possible solution? Are you guys, meaning the Sheriff's Department and the Shreveport Police, are you guys going to work out a plan where you, the Sheriff's Department, assist them in patrolling the area?
What's up, Duck?
Because of the increased violent crime, and the plan was, well, maybe the sheriff's deputies can take over some of the periphery of the patrols, which would free up the Shreveport cops to work the heavier crime areas to have a greater presence.
Right.
And in the midst of it all, you said to Sheriff Steve, you said, so is there a plan? Are you getting the plan from the SPD? And his response was, and we'll hear it in a couple of seconds on the replay, and the response was, well, you want the Steve Prater answer? You want the PC answer? You said, give me the Steve Prater answer. He goes, not so much.
Yeah.
And that reminded you
of a meeting I heard about or watched part of, and Ollie Tyler was questioned by Councilman Willie Bradford.
Where was this?
This was City Hall.
Okay.
And
like a city council?
Yeah, it was city council work session.
Okay.
And he was questioning her about why the chief did not attend that first crime summit earlier in June, and what were we doing on fighting crime? What were we working on? And the mayor essentially, and count how many times she says plan in this. I may have gotten it wrong, but she talks about we do have a plan. We're working on a plan.
We have been working with the Sheriff's Department on a plan. In my understanding, from the meeting we had, the 2-hour meeting that we had with the sheriff and the others, they were to go back and develop a plan, and that's what they did. And apparently somebody in the parish commission didn't like the plan. We were under the impression that the plan was going to be presented to the sheriff, and the sheriff and the chief would sit and look at the plan and then present that to the parish commission, and then they could decide whether or not they were going to fund it. That was our understanding.
Yeesh.
Okay.
Sounds like an AA meeting. We're working
Yeah.
the plan. Okay, so yesterday we had Sheriff Prater on, and you asked him, and here comes the segment, and you basically asked him about the plan that the mayor had referred to.
The mayor said in the city council meeting a couple of weeks ago, and I'm almost direct quoting, she said, "We have our people meeting with your people, developing a plan." Okay?
Right.
What's the plan? We can develop a plan all day. That doesn't keep people from shooting.
And is there really a
Is
plan?
there really a plan being developed?
Do you? Let me see. Do you want the Steve Prater version? Or
Oh,
you want
absolutely.
The politically correct
I want
version?
the Steve Prater version.
No, there's no plan.
Do you even have people meeting with her people to talk about it?
Yes, my chief deputy and myself met with the assistant chief, Bill Gooden. We met and came up with this warrant roundup that we just finished. But there's no plan to in going forward. There's no real plan that's going to impact crime. We may do an operation here or there, but it'll be a time sensitive thing. It won't be a permanent thing. And
temporary. It won't be a permanent thing.
You know, it's interesting to me, and we touched on this last time we talked about this and played these segments in the 6 o'clock hour. And it's what you and I talk about all the time, about people looking at the same thing, drawing two different conclusions. He's saying, there's no plan. We got that warrant roundup thing.
Sure. Yeah.
There's a warrant roundup thing.
And maybe the chief and the mayor think that's a plan.
Well, that's exactly what Chief Crump said. So what's the plan? He goes, well, we got the warrant roundup thing.
We're doing a warrants roundup.
Like it's the coolest thing in the world.
I
So
mean,
they're talking about the same thing. In Crump's mind, that's the plan. We're implementing the plan. The warrants roundup. And yet Chief...
well, we've been doing warrant Wednesdays for a long time where we round up warrants people.
So
that's not a crime-fighting plan.
So you tell me, they are seeing the same thing. Chief Crump, Sheriff Prater. They are looking at the same...
Of course. I mean, they're not blatantly lying to us. Neither one of them is lying to us to fool us. They just see it differently. I mean, and I see it kind of the same. I see it kind of like the sheriff says. If I live in Queensboro and I hear gunshots every night, and you tell me you're going out once a week and arresting people that are wanted on warrants, yay, that's great. But I want to see more cops in my neighborhood. I want cops going door to door, knocking on doors, meeting people, riding bikes through the neighborhood. I want to see something physically happening in my neighborhood so I don't hear gunshots at night. So my children can sit in the living room and watch TV without fear of a gunshot coming through the window.
Which Prater reiterated, plan.
Yeah.
849, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Here comes traffic. Here comes Brandon.
A minor hit and run slowing things down at Bicknell Drive and Hearn Avenue in Shreveport. Other than that, no reported slowdowns or accidents in the Shreveport-Bossier City area at this time. But if you see something, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sunshine and hot today, high 99. Clear, warm, and sticky tonight, low 77. Plenty of sunshine, hot, and humid again tomorrow, the high 98. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Dan Petanowski.
You're listening to American Ground Radio's Morning Minute.
President Trump has signed an executive order he says will allow families to be detained together while the adults in the family are being prosecuted for violating U.S. immigration laws.
The irony of all of this is that there are nearly 10,000 children who were sent alone by their parents across the border. So while 2,000 children have been separated from their parents, nearly 10,000 of them were separated by their parents on the other side of the border.
As bad as we feel about the separation of children from their parents, we should feel just as bad about the separation of fact from our debates.
American Ground Radio, where building a better America begins with building a better us. Return each weeknight from 6 to 7 p.m. with Louis R. Avalone and Stephen Parr on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL and streaming live at KEELnews.com.
Yo, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty here again for Twin City Appliance. You can find them online at twincityappliance.com. Any strange noise you might hear in the background that you might wonder, what is that, and does Erin need Pepto-Bismol, is in fact her emulating the noise that comes from a broken appliance.
Yep, it's a dryer. You know you've heard a dryer do that. Twin City Appliance can fix it.
I was watching a movie last night where they were making that noise, but I'm not going to tell you about it.
They don't fix movies. They fix appliances. If your appliance is making a goober noise.
A what?
A goober noise.
Major appliances of all types.
Oh, yeah.
Styles.
High dollar ones, the cheapo model ones.
No matter what, they can fix it. And like Erin a while back when she was redecorating the whole house, saved her a couple of grand by fixing the appliances in the joint so she didn't have to buy new ones.
You bet.
Find out more. It's Twin City Appliance, in business longer than any other major appliance repair folks in the Arklatex. They're online at twincityappliance.com.
Give them a buzz today, 318-688-0253.
In 1980.
Sorry, I was listening to the song.
You were enjoying it.
30 Seconds to Mars. What's his name? The Shreveport. He was born in Bossier City. Won the Oscar for Dallas Buyers Club or whatever it was.
You got it?
Jared Leto?
That's
Jared,
it.
very
Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. It's 8:55. So what are your vacation plans? You're gone next week. Me,
Chilling.
Matt, we're on, what?
I'm just chilling. I got projects to do around the house that I'm going to hopefully get
You just
done.
had your whole house redecorated.
I know,
What-
but there's little things like hang some things on the wall. I got a couple of rugs I want to get. I want to get some lamps.
I must ask you,
Mhm.
and I make this suggestion to anyone when they redecorate or move.
Yeah.
And I want you to tell me it paid off. Never hang a picture for at least 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh, absolutely. Wait.
Think about where you want to put the picture on the wall.
Yep.
Set it on the floor, like against that wall.
I did that.
But don't be putting nails in the wall, because all you will be, if you want to change your mind, you might
Yeah.
get a new picture, and all you'll be is upset, especially you, because you've got all these new walls.
Oh, it's gorgeous, and I'm just going to relax next week. That's what I'm looking most forward to.
Really?
Yeah, don't call me. Not helping.
Will your sleep hours, will they become a little more regular? Because you
no.
sleep fitfully at best.
No, I'll sleep till probably 5 maybe.
Have you thought about sleeping with the TV off?
I might try that. It's a good idea.
Going crazy, kid. Going crazy. That or about a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
8:57, back Monday morning, 6 till 9. Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Kim Commando.
Do you remember all those times when you held your crying infant and somehow you were quickly able to figure out exactly what the baby needed? There's now an app for that. Kim Commando with your Friday Consumer Tech Update. Chatter Baby is a free smartphone app that claims to analyze a baby's cry, as long as you have a strong Wi-Fi signal. Now, new apps usually don't get on my radar, but as both a mom and America's digital goddess, this one did. So let's say the baby's crying, quick, hungry, wet, or in pain. Or does he just want his mommy? The folks at Chatter Baby know, with 90% accuracy. They did it with private funding and some money from UCLA. Okay, 2 things here. If you even think you're going to need an app to tell you what's wrong with the baby, for heaven's sake, try not to get pregnant. Second, you just know that this app will collect data on you and your baby. What will it do with all the information it collects? Think about it. I'm Kim Commando. When you're hiring, you don't want to waste time sorting through dozens of irrelevant resumes. You want an efficient way to get to a short list of qualified candidates. You need Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions based on your job requirements. Then zero in on qualified candidates using an intuitive online dashboard. Discover why 3 million businesses use Indeed.com for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed.
It's the ultimate 4th of July celebration, the 45th Boston Pops Fireworks Spectacular, presented by Bloomberg and Eaton Vance. Join conductor Keith Lockhart, the Indigo Girls, Rachel Platten, Rita Moreno, and Rihanna Giddens, performing on the banks of the Charles River, followed by the unforgettable Pops Fireworks display. Wednesday, July 4th, starting at 8 Eastern. Live and exclusively on Bloomberg Radio, the Bloomberg Business app, Sirius XM Channel 119, BloombergRadio.com, and Bloomberg Television. Check your local listings.
8:59, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. One more look at traffic. Here comes Brandon.
Looks like cleanup is coming to an end on that major accident, I-20 and Monkhouse Drive. Traffic could be a little slow in that area. If you see anything else causing traffic concerns, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline at 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sunshine and hot today, high 99. Clear, warm, and sticky tonight, low 77. Plenty of sunshine, hot, and humid again tomorrow, the high 98. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Dan Padanowski.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 Keel.